What's up guys, it's Geekscorner here. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. Last night Apple released iOS 14 Beta 2 to developers, and there still currently isn't a public beta just yet. However, Apple tends to release it either the day after or up to a week later than the developer, so you should see anything from possibly today to next week. If they follow the normal cycle. It's been 2 weeks and 1 day since Apple released the first developer beta. Now, with the second beta, as always, there's been a lot of visual changes, and I'm not going to actually cover those because they'll probably change in the next couple of betas as usual. So we're going to look at some of the main changes that Apple have introduced. So far now, they've added a Files widget, which is quite useful if you use the files quite a lot. And they've also added the ability to suggest a Siri shortcut less. So if you're pulling down and you're using the Siri shortcuts and it brings up, for example, Twitter as what they think that you're going to use next, if that's not something that you want to use, you can choose to have that suggest less, which is actually pretty useful. Apple Music app now allows you to choose to disable the animated cover if you don't like that option as well. And also, the Wi-Fi privacy now has a warning coming up to say that it's been disabled if, for example, you're on a public network and your security isn't guaranteed on there. So that's a nice little feature that they've also added on as well. Control Center also now displays which apps have recently accessed the microphone or the camera. And as we've previously covered, you also get little colored dots up on your top of your screen whenever your camera or your microphone is being accessed as well, so you will always know what's actually going on with your devices. 9to5Mac have actually found references to code that Apple is going to be using QR codes as a way to pay your bills. So basically, users will be able to point their iPhone camera at the barcode, and then they will be able to use a card that's been registered with Apple Pay to pay their bills as well. So that will be another good feature, especially the fact that Apple is focused on privacy, and when you do pay with Apple Pay, they generate a random card number as well. So where your current bank is able to track your purchases and your buying history and able to sell that data to advertisers, this will make it a lot more difficult thanks to Apple's privacy focus. A Twitter user has actually posted a screenshot with the HomePod's ability now to select a default service for music, podcasts and audiobooks as well on the HomePod. So if you are a Spotify user, this should be a feature that you will probably enjoy. If you haven't checked out the HomePod yet, I will say that the sound quality is really, really good. I've currently got that along with some Google Homes and Alexa devices, and I personally think that the HomePod sounds a lot better. But obviously, up until now, it's been Apple Music only. However, since this option is dependent on developers updating their apps to be able to use with the HomePod, then it's going to probably be a while before we start seeing any major changes. For me personally, I'm happy with the Apple Music option because I do pay for Apple Music, but it would be nice to have other options in the future. But what I really like to do is be able to change the default podcast provider. I currently use Overcast, and to have that on my HomePod as well as my iPad and iPhone as well would be a really good continuity feature that I really hope that Apple and obviously Overcast implement. Today's sponsor is Private Internet Access. Did you know that every time you connect to the internet, your ISP can actually see what you're browsing? Did you know that every time you're out and about and you connect to a public Wi-Fi, you're at risk of being targeted by malicious people, and they're able to see not only the sites you're browsing, but potentially your passwords as well? Well, Private Internet Access has your back. When you browse online with this VPN, you're able to encrypt connections and stay safe. So why not check out Private Internet Access? They have some low monthly prices, under $4 a month. Go to geekscorner.co.uk/VPN. Thanks Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's episode. Now, also along with iOS 14, you also get watchOS 7 Beta 2 as well, and that again is out for developers at the moment. No public release on that one. And they have actually fixed the App Store that wasn't working in Beta 1. So if you were holding off updating, you can now access that as well. And there's also a new option in the App Store app on the watch where you could actually view purchase history for yourself and any family member sharing on there as well. So you can actually see what apps they've downloaded. So if there is a watch specific app on there, you can also download that directly on the watch, which is actually a really good feature. And I think that just shows us another step forward to that watch being finally independent from the iPhone, maybe in a couple of generations time. But it's another small step to see in that as well. And we are still digging through the watch OS 7 betas just to see for any other major changes on there. Now, I have been testing out the bedtime feature. It does work. It isn't as good as some of the third-party apps that's obviously been out for a while and improved over time, but it is definitely a good start by Apple. Apple has also updated the betas for the Apple TV, for the Mac and for the iPad, and again we haven't really dug through any of those just yet, so we're not going to really comment on all those changes, but hopefully in time we'll be able to put those out on our website as well. If you haven't checked out our website yet, make sure you head over to geekscorner.co.uk. In other news, Samsung Galaxy Note 20 event has been confirmed for August the 5th, and obviously that's going to be online only. There was a leak of the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 on a website that went up a little bit early, and obviously that's now been taken off. So we have had a little glimpse of that device, and the picture actually had it in like a pinkish gold, not quite rose gold colour, and a stylus that actually matched. So it would be interesting to see that event. If you're interested in any of the Samsung devices, make sure you put that in your calendar as well. Google Maps is now testing showing traffic lights on streets as well. So if you are a Google Maps user, then that may also be of use to you. Obviously that's on Android at the moment. Let's hope that that gets updated for the iOS application at some point as well. In America, Apple has been closing down some of its retail stores again amidst spikes of the COVID-19 infection rates, and now they've actually started doing that in Melbourne area in Australia as well. As the COVID-19 infection rates start to rise, Apple have actually chosen to close their stores again, which is actually really good for people. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed, and we will hope to catch you on the next one.